All right. Okay. All right. It's going. This is Underachiever.
Overseer.
We are-
Minus one.
No, without Graham, we are Underachiever.
No, it's just half the band that's
We're
gone.
still Overseer.
No, we're not.
25% of our members.
Can't we be like?
50% of our ability of music at least.
Can we be under singer?
This is Overseer.
Oh, we're under singer because we're less one singer. Okay.
Not quite.
Technically, we've like gained a singer because you and I are both singing.
Yeah, we're actually doubled number of vocalists.
Well, you know what, guys? I don't want to hear any sass.
Okay.
With me today, Les Graham are my compadres. Joshua.
Hey.
Caudill. I don't know what the C stands for.
C?
It's not
That's
actually
false.
his real name. I don't know if you can see very well. Okay. And then over on the passenger side there, with his ukulele, is Jeremy Smith. There's his ukulele.
You're going to Circle K to get gas.
Oh, we're going to Circle K to get gas. So, this was stage 1, volume 6. I don't even know what that means. Yeah.
Video log 1 of our first road trip.
Video log 1 of our first road trip without
We
Graham.
miss you, Graham.
Graham, if you're watching this, we love you, but we hate you for not coming.
I am the thief with blood-red hands. I am a bull with morality, breaking china with all of my friends. Part of me wants perfection, the other doesn't need blue tape. I believe I was born to have direction, but I've got scribbles on my pages. Somebody's in me singing, oh, break free of the cages. I'm not just a carrot up in New Age, so I want more than your wages. So I pour my heart out, all that I can through the cracks, singing I am the broken man.
As the lead guitarist, it's really kind of my job to help, I suppose, accent what Graham does. Really, my job with helping with the band is being flexible, is playing what they want me to play, and then also just creating the tones that I can create. We have huge jokes in our band about my pedal board, the size of it, but the truth of the matter is it really does attribute to a lot of the stuff I'm able to do. Josh and Jeremy are without a doubt two of the greatest guys for me to get to work with in this process. They're funny, they keep me on track. We kind of have little roles in the band. Josh is always the one who's keeping us spiritually aware.
I don't know. I kind of look at myself with the band as not really a spiritual leader.
Jeremy is always bringing us down to earth, making sure that we aren't up in the sky for too long. Graham keeps us going, no matter what we're trying to get done, no matter how fast we have to do something or how little time I have to put something together. It's really worked out to a pretty cohesive couple guys. We've actually finally become a band, not just a group of friends that play together. I couldn't ask for better guys to play with and to worship with.
You know, for me, this album, because it's the first album, and you go into it not even knowing if you're gonna finish it. You know, like it's not like we've had our first album under our belts, and we have some deadline to get so many songs done, and they should have a certain theme. It's not like that at all.
It's really surprising to look back because I never would have thought, heck, even 6 months ago, that we would record an album.
We've had several "we're in a band" moments, and this is definitely the biggest one where we realize we're actually a band.
It's one of those things we never thought we would do, I think. So it's kind of surreal, not to overuse an already overused word, but it's just kind of like, wow, we did that.
It's really our first project as a band together. We've been together now for about 2 years, and this is the first solid thing outside of t-shirts that we'll actually have in our hands as part of being together. In all honesty, we're not sure if we're going to stick together after college. I mean, we can't be sure.
Just the time and energy poured into it, as well as traveling and just giving up an entire weekend for that. It drains you, and it does take a lot more than you think. And I mean, even from just recording, the whole process of recording each individual instrument, like there are times where, you know, Josh or Michael may get on my nerves, or Graham does something dumb, or any of that stuff. But in the long run, I have gotten to know them better through playing music with them and traveling with them and living with them for a week. And it's, you know, it's been hard and it's been challenging at times, but in the long run, it's definitely been for the better.
The album starts off with Broken Man, and that's such a, like, honestly kind of a peppy, just blunt realization that we're all broken. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory, but even in that, there's these images, you know, adrift in the ocean, I'm just a man about to drown, was a line that I never really caught before, but there's such an oceanic connection to, like, this journey that for me it's a lot about just the journey. And so the album becomes this organic process in and of itself of finding who we are as a band.
When we originally tried to make this album, was it last year?
Last summer.
Last summer, almost the entire year ago. For 4 or 5 days? 4 days? 4 days. We were going to try to record 4 songs for a small EP. And so the guys came up to Enid. None of us, though, had really had any real experience recording. Essentially, those 4 days were just slow. And thank goodness we had that experience whenever we went to the studio with the Deemers, because it made us better and made things go faster. We're also more prepared when we went in with the Deemers.
And we really just want to thank Paul and Tom Deemer for all of the help. I mean, literally this album is not possible without them, and they put in so much, I think, heart and real intention into these songs and the effort into getting them mixed and recorded. And so truly thank you guys, both of y'all, for working so hard on it, and we're really proud of the work you guys did.
Thanks.
That week of recording, it really did, it flew by. I mean, I remember just driving down to Arlington, or driving up to Arlington and meeting the guys there. And, you know, 8 days later, we have 12 songs recorded. And, you know, we did 9 of the songs in the studio with one of Graham's friends, and then we recorded 3 of them on our own. Getting to work with Paul, the guy who recorded us, as well as his dad, and then just getting to spend time with Graham, Josh, and Michael. Just seeing their input on certain things and their, like, ideas on, you know, hey, this would sound better this way, or maybe that we should do this instead of this.
The album is very, it's kind of like the cherry on top for the band, because it's been a long process, and I guess all bands feel like that about their album, but ours has been really one where we've kind of learned a lot about ourselves in the process.
And it's funny to me how, as things started to come together, how much of a longing for an identity that, to an extent, we can't really find here in this life, started to appear out of these songs that, you know, even me encountering them as far as writing them and having encountered them personally and having different meanings and backgrounds to these different songs. I mean, it's still its own organic being even sometimes, because you come back to these songs and they point out something to you that you didn't notice before, and you're kind of like, oh wow, yeah, I mean, that I didn't see that before, you know.
Well, the album has been something we've kind of been working on for a long time, and we set a lot of goals previously on when to get it done, and obviously we were more optimistic than we should have been, but we finally got this brought together, and it feels really great, and we're really excited to get all the mixes back and get everything put together, because it's really been a process of discovering who we are as musicians and as a kind of brotherhood. it was good that we started this our sophomore year, because it was a really sophomoric experience where we were discovering what it even meant to put words and worship into music. Whether they were songs that were meant to be sung in like worship gathering or not, they were all kind of expressions of our encounters with God over the last couple of years, and it really expresses a lot of what we've gone through in this whole entering and passing through college experience. So it feels very kind of conclusive. Like, it helps us process a lot by having been through it, I think.
You know, you're wondering how you're going to get all this done, and then it just slowly comes together, and you see you're starting to get just an overall sound back of all the instruments, and then when you get that final song, and you know, okay, this is the final mix, and you listen to it, you're just blown away, because you never thought it would sound that good.
Because Valinor is such a, it's such a great. I love the song. I love the focus on it. I love obviously the Tolkien reference of Valinor and what that means for me as far as just in general, begging the question of people through music, through so many things in life. That there's a kingdom that the gods made that's just not fully realized here, and I think we see that when we see tragedy, when we see disaster. And college is a time where we see a lot of that, a lot of tragedy and disaster, and sometimes you feel like you are kind of out in the ocean going, all right, is there really this Valinor out there to be hopeful for? And there's some songs that we're done with, like Shasta, and we're like, I don't even know what this is, man. It's just having fun. Shasta.
I see your darkness in the sandstorm. I hear you toiling by the sea. I feel you moving in the womb, kid. Are you lost? Your body doesn't fit the landscape. You're not owned by a calamine. I've got a similar sensation. Can we fly? Can we fly? Can we fly? Shasta. Called out by a lion. He's got a ripping hold on me. I won't survive the transformation. Are you safe?
But getting these songs recorded, Graham's lyrics, Graham's musical style, it was something we just needed to do. It was just something that we all felt should be done, and that we'll at least be able to bless people even if we don't stay together after college. So, in all honesty, it's just an incredible blessing to be a part of.
We tried to pick a certain song of the 12 song set that would work as a title, but no one of them just like really made it. I mean, I think the closest one for us was Valinor, but it didn't seem like it even fully, like, I don't know.
Plus, we didn't want to get sued by,
It's almost more of a history book of the last 2 years of college, and whether or not that ends up speaking to people in a way that ends up in more songs, more time together as a band, I don't know, but as it is right now, it's definitely more of just looking at this journey together and looking at this picture of us on the waters of life and what all that brings, and looking for what's ahead.
The offing is what they call like what you can see in the distance of the shore, so like the distant visible part of the ocean.
And that was the invisible part of it.
No, so you can see.
It's what you can see.
Yeah.
Like on the horizon.
Gotcha.
Essentially.
Like the ocean on the horizon.
Yeah, and so this phrase in the offing is something that they use to describe something that's out there, nautically, like in sailing and oceanic realms. They use this term to describe something that's visible but isn't going to be present anytime soon. And so that's also been kind of metaphorically a phrase used to just describe a situation when you're talking about something that's in the near distant future.
An event that is imminent.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's imminent and approaching.
Which has kind of been our album in a way, like we've thought about it in the distance, but we never really realized that we'd actually like get there,
Yeah.
We kind of seen it on the horizon as a possibility of things, but not always know known like how to, you know, actually get it done.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have physical albums in our hands soon, and I still don't feel like we've recorded it yet.
Which, yeah, I know.
Okay. We just pulled up to Circle K and we just had our first like awesome moment of band stuff. You see that lady out there pumping gas? That's Bethany Jackson, and she's one of our friends. And it's just
Bethany
cool
Jones.
that we ran into her. Okay, eventually going to be Bethany Jones. Sorry, Graham. And in her passenger seat is possibly the one and only Amanda Kirby. You can't really see her,
Someone call her.
but she's over there.
No, she's on the phone.
So, yeah, that's Amanda Kirby. Oh, she sees me, and now she's waving. She's laughing. Okay, there, she saw it. Okay, well, I would take the camera outside. By camera, I mean my computer. But the wind would destroy the microphone, and by destroy, I mean you wouldn't understand anything. So, alright. We love you, Graham. Not really.
Well, I'm eating some club crackers. I had some tomato soup, and I've been watching 30 Rock all day. I may have the flu, so I'm kind of just skipping work and class so I don't give children and professors the flu, because that'd be bad.
Just playing bass. I mean, it's not the most important instrument, but it's kind of helped me learn to, I guess, step back and let others take the lead on certain things. Because sometimes I feel like I want to contribute more, or like I just feel like what I have to say is really important. But I guess through the band and being part of that, it's kind of taught me just to step back and let others kind of give their input or take control of things, because they may have better ideas or better thoughts than I do. And so it's really taught me just to kind of be a little bit more humble.
When it comes to bandmates and like our band family, I guess it's
Graham is the overseer of this whole band, so that's why it's called overseer for one. And then all these squiggles are his hair, and inside is this dinosaur coming out. I mean, he's kind of tall, like a dinosaur.
It's so funny because a lot of us are so different. You know, Jeremy, who has become, you know, a really bold go-getter and, you know, working out and establishing, you know, friendships with people across campus, stuff like that. And you've got Michael, who's, you know, business major, and so networking there too, but has a heart for worship and leading worship. And then you've got Josh, who is Josh, and he's just all over the place, man. He just, you know, between like loving languages and, you know, studying philosophy and just loving music and denying being a hipster, he's just all over the place. Wherever I fall in that, I just depends on the day sometimes.
Anybody here? It's bow tie.
Just how's it going?
Documenting.
Did you know I punched a hole in the wall this morning? But not a hole in the
Why are
wall,
you
just like an
bleeding?
edge. Because I took out the Band-Aid because I was...
My main relationship with the guys in the band is that I serve as like a love doctor to like fix relationship problems and talk to them about girls and stuff.
It like hurt some, but I didn't
Look at his finger. Look at his finger.
Okay, ready? 1, 2.
So that's really all I do. I kind of ride in the van and talk to them. I'm the drummer in the band, but outside of that, I'm kind of in charge of booking. I've been the one that's kind of organized and gotten most of our events and gigs and camps and stuff in the past. I'm also in charge of programming if we have any electronic tracks or synth stuff during live shows, and I'm also kind of in charge of merch. So we have a strong brotherhood, and I try my best to give myself the role of bringing everyone together in a kind of unity as brothers in Christ in the band.
Hello, everybody. This is end of day 1. We arrived here at roughly 9, unloaded, got everything ready, played the first session with the kids. The kids are awesome, by the way. Yeah.
True story.
That's Josh, by the way.
Hey.
We're sitting on his bed.
Yeah, I'm just laying here, chilling, literally.
Basically, first set went decently well. Bass amp still won't start. Turn on. Power, bad
Won't
things.
turn over. Whenever
That.
you turn the key.
That's what's going on with my bass amp. I'm kind of annoyed, but it's okay. God will provide. What else? Anything really amazing? We've seen like a ton of deer. And we nearly scraped Jeremy's car on a rock. That was fun.
And I have this really long hair in my beard, and if I have to bring a razor, it's gonna be a problem.
Josh has beard problems. There are no spiders currently in our area. Good news for Josh.
I checked my bed.
We got Jeremy over there doing the God thing, and
Prepping the small group.
prepping for small groups tomorrow.
Prepping the small group.
See, he's actually being really responsible. He's one of the small group leaders. So, well, currently it is 1:02 in the a.m. We are getting up in 6 hours, less than 6 hours, to get ready for our next set. Then we have a day with the kids tomorrow. Don't know what's gonna happen there. I'm kind of scared of some of these guys. They're kind of big.
They are actually.
We miss you, Graham.
Not really.
I do.
Go smash your viola. End day one.
Sometimes it's easy to look at music and to look at what's Christian in music, or if I'm listening to the right radio station, I'm gonna get this kind of genre stuff. And I'm a huge fan of Christian genres and all that stuff, and I don't have a bone to pick with any of that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's funny to me just because a lot of these songs I remember when I wrote them. I remember when and how how I was feeling, where I was at, and it's funny that some of the most personal ones are the worshipy ones, the Christian radio station songs. Turn My Eyes. I just remember like we were trying to decide a hymn to cover, and I kept thinking of Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus, that hymn, and I kept coming back to it, but not feeling like I just wanted to stay there. But I kept reading into these verses and trying to look at where the writer was coming from, and it kind of turned into this song that was really just exposed. It was just kind of like, yeah, man, I really I need your vision here. I need your eyes. But even if that doesn't happen, like, you promise that when I turn my eyes to you, like, you're gonna take care of things because you've already sent your son to die on the cross. And so there's a lot of different things that go into that, but that's just an example, though. I think in general, being a band, obviously there's things like community and working together, seeing small pictures of the body of Christ working together. Obviously, not all of us can play all the instruments. We all have to work together. And obviously that's a huge picture of the body of Christ. But then beyond that, I think past the music, there's an aspect too of how we're brought together in worship, because sometimes, it's hard to figure out. For me, I'm singing the worship lyrics, but that doesn't mean that it's always the easiest to worship, because you still have to think what you're doing. You have to, keep track of the band and where we're going and what we're moving to, and remember the words in the first place. So when it comes to my relationship with God and all that, I think that it all is a very daily thing, because and again, this is kind of going back to what I was saying about the hi Michael, how's it going? You're good, you can come in. Intermission.
I'm sorry.
And then Michael sits on my lap sometimes.
Less than Josh does.
That's true. That's true. On all of these songs, it's not just where I was at, what was going on in life, but what was going on in my relationship with God. John Foreman really influenced me, especially in one interview or something I read online where it just said that he had tried to write a song a day. And I started thinking about that idea, and at first it seems like, well, you might be kind of forcing it. Like, eventually you got to come back to G, C, D, C, G, or something like that. But it's not about that. It's about, like, as I grow in spending time daily in the Word and praying and trying to interact with people on campus in an organic, Christ-like way, like, through that experience, there are obstacles and things that you come to in life, and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, or I don't know how to feel through this. North Meadow is such a deep song for me, because I wrote it 5 minutes before I turned 20, sophomore year, and I just remember thinking, it was such an uneventful event, I guess, and it's such a weird, like, nothing to consider, that I stopped and thought, who am I now? Like, what decade am I, so to speak? We looked at we look at like the 70s and 80s and we define those decades by different things. Man, so much has happened to me in a decade. Like, who am I at the end of it, and who will I be in the next decade? And so it's really just, that song is just where I was in my walk with God. I just had to recognize where He'd put me, the blessings that I've had in my life, of my home, which is on the street, North Meadow. That's why it's called that. And especially thinking back to, childhood roots, thinking of my parents and my family, and thinking of all those things, and God comforting me in those memories. Like, it was just a time where I was able to just kind of express in worship that no matter what continues from here, like, there's hope that, it's going to be okay, because God is the God of the moment, not in the sense that it's some grand adventure every moment. I mean, there's tons of stagnant moments in life, but they're only stagnant if we make them godless, and if we make them something transitory. But God makes a journey, He makes an adventure out of the transitory. He turns the cubicle life into an exciting life. He turns college life into exciting life. I mean, what do we do here? When we're not studying, we find stupid things to do. I mean, that's such a beautiful picture of how in life, like, God may not always lay before us some exciting thing. This band may not go on forever, or certainly even maybe after your college even, but that doesn't mean that the adventure through music, through worship, through just simply daily walking with Him stops. It keeps on going. And so for me, if there's any one thing I would say that not only this album represents, but this walk with these guys and this band represents for me, it's that daily walk with God that's so beautifully new each and every day, that it doesn't matter if the next day we break up as a band and we never get to perform again, because what we've been able to do is something that we'll look back on, and it'll be an encouragement to us, definitely, and I hope for other people too.
This weekend was really great. I mean, I was sick, so it was a little rough, but it was a really good D-Now that we had to go play at in Texas. And for the most part, I was able to do everything just fine, even being ill. So it was really good, and it was a friend's church, so we were really glad to be able to help them out with that. Us trying to play the role of worship leaders is kind of central to what our band is, and I think that, for the most part, that's been the majority of what we do. And we do original stuff, and we play original kind of concerts as opposed to worship events, but it's definitely been the majority of our time, and I think that it's been really important to all of us as far as establishing kind of what the band's about, and what at any point when we might disagree on like where we're heading as a band, or not really knowing what we're doing after college, we can all look at those kind of events like D-Nows and worship events and say, like, no matter what, this is at the core of who we are as a band, leading others to worship.
As a band, I don't think we've ever really defined a specific mission that we've been going towards, a specific goal. What we've always wanted to do is, it started off wanting to play music together, and it really has developed into how can we impact the kingdom on a broader scale with what we have. Getting this album recorded, getting these songs out there is just another way to bless the church. Poetry and music and song for the entire history of the church have been incredibly important. They're a way of expressing what we feel, who we are, in other ways than just speaking. So getting this album together, getting to put these ideas out there, we're hoping to impact people, impact the church, impact those who are not saved, to bring glory to God, really. That's something hugely we talk about at practices. How is this glorifying God? Is this what we're doing here? Is this really necessary? Are we simply doing this to have more music, more sound? And in some instances, we've actually had to decide, let's not do that. Let's not go that far out there, because that has no real purpose aside from just trying to show off. So I believe putting this album out there will hopefully allow us to extend our reach a little more, to impact the kingdom, and hopefully we'll be able to use this as a platform of getting ourselves enough momentum to continue to do what we've been doing the last 2 years together.
Well, hey, this is Overseer log number, 3 now? Yes, number 3. We totally bugged on doing a log last night because we were really tired and it was really late. So we're actually headed home. This is Sunday morning. So I'm going to tell you, though, in this log about what we did yesterday. So we had a morning session of 4 songs? Morning session, like 4 or 5 songs. And then an evening session of 4 or 5 songs. And in between there's a large space of hanging out with the kids. We played I played some flat football with them. Jeremy did some like intermittent games with them. Josh, I don't know what the crap you did. What did you do?
I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't play flag football because I have a spider bite and I can't wear shoes. So I just had to like play around or play drums or whatever. I read some.
So Josh basically doesn't care about the children.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it went really well. That's about all. That's about all I got. You guys got anything?
I don't know. I mean, it was a really good weekend.
Hey, we have not gotten to the last log yet. We don't know if it's been a good weekend until we get home safely.
Oh yeah. We were talking about titles for the album and had no idea what to go with for a while, and I somewhat jokingly suggested The Fox and the Hound as a title once, because and most people seen the old Disney movie, and what happens is these two characters have this friendship that ultimately doesn't last, but the point in the end, or one of the points of the movie, is that their friendship, while it lasted, was still important because it was a time of development. It was a time of relationship and community, and that's kind of what it is for us. That this album represents all that we've worked toward, and when we come back in 20 years, we can look at it and say, like, we didn't stick together as a band because that's not where our paths in life led, but the sense of community that came out of the entire process is absolutely going to be just as worthwhile. And I think that's really what it means for us. Is it'll be a unique physical representation of the growth that a lot of people go through in this time of their life, and I don't think a lot of people will have something that they can look at and remember that by 20, 50 years down the road. I think that's really what it represents for us, and as an individual, it really is just kind of a finalization of a lot of things God's been doing in my life, and letting me minister through music and be a part of this band and get to know these guys so well. I think it's going to be the same kind of thing, that no matter what happens in the next few years, I know 50 years when I pick up that CD and listen to North Meadow, I'm just going to bawl my eyes out because I'm going to remember incredible experiences.
5 minutes till I lose myself. In just a moment and I'm gone. In what 10 years did I live so long? To what 10 years did I move on? And how many times did I think to myself about these years to come? And how many times will I pray for some help, for stepping out on my own, to go reclaim my home? I still have for me to guide my weary, tired feet. Did they remember who I used to be? Or am I my own biography? And how many times did I think to myself about these years to come? And how many times will I pray for some help, for stepping out on my own, to go reclaim my home? my symphony, and every note's a moment long. In one moment I was bound and freed, so in this moment I'll be strong. So in this moment I'll be strong.